The only other space that we didn't talk about, I think, was the dungeon space. They had a very small dungeon space.
But it was nice.
It was
Yes.
nice.
Very nice.
Yep, and our friend who we know was the dungeon master, so that was pretty cool to see him. We hadn't seen him in a while, so that was neat. But what did the dungeon look like? What did they have in there?
So they had a spanking post.
Yep.
Which looked a fair amount like a hard point for suspensions. This is why I start with this. It came up when we were in there talking with them last night. It's just a big a post with a L at the top that hangs out over the platform that it's built onto. And it has lots of pre-drilled holes in it for a rope to fit through. And then there was a suspension ring hanging off the L at the top. So it kind of looks like a hard point. And we had already looked at it the first night we got when we just kind of did a walkthrough. I'm like, it's okay, but we'll see. And
we never got a chance.
We never got there. But we were talking with them last night, and he said they have to watch that because they have to go tell everyone that's not really for suspensions. That's you just tie your partner up and flog them and spank them.
Yeah, it's a spanking pole is what he calls it.
Spanking pole.
Yeah.
Almost like a modern version of a whip. But that's probably not politically correct to say out loud that way.
I'm gonna say it's not.
But then they also had some spanking benches, some really nice spanking benches, a couple of general areas, and then along the wall, the same thing that you've mentioned before. They had viewing benches, and I mentioned that to him last night as we were leaving, that I really, being the showman, I really appreciate the fact that they think ahead and they put out the benches and the playrooms and even in the dungeon, because we always like to go to the dungeon and watch. Watching is half the fun.
Right.
So, and he said they do that every time because they understand that a huge part of their clientele here, their level of participation, especially in the dungeon, is just to come and observe.
Yeah, they had a cross, St. Andrew's cross.
St.
Yeah, they had
Andrew's
two of
Cross,
those.
Yeah, and there were people in there flogging and learning flogging, and he actually did a flogging class to talk about impact and things like that. So it was nice to see that the slight side of kink represented. We like that, and that place there was always people in there and always people sitting and watching, and so it was really cool too. So yeah. So those are the playrooms on Thursday. So then, so you guys played in the playrooms on Thursday. We went back up to the room instead. And had our moment upstairs, which apparently we were a little loud, apparently, because the neighbor next door this next day said, "Oh, there's 4 of you in there. That's why it was so loud." And we're like, "What?" It's like, "Yeah, we're loud last night." I'm like, "Oh, that was me." It's like, "No, it was all 4 of you." And I said, "No, it wasn't. It was just me." And I'm so sorry, because I couldn't hear anybody. I thought they were really soundproof rooms. You really don't hear anybody walking down the halls or anything, right? So I never heard anybody. So I'm like, "Woohoo! I could really let loose." So apparently I did, and apparently you can hear. Apparently there's a threshold where the sound does get through the walls. So, but we did that on Thursday night instead of playrooms. So. And then Friday, anything else for Thursday night?
No.
So it's kind of low key. It was a nice soft launch into the weekend, so to speak, because again, there were definitely people there, but it was not as crowded.
Right.
As,
it wasn't super crowded.
And everybody,
Well, it's a travel day, so if you're getting there, a lot of people, so you're kind of tired. So.
Right.